All right, guys, so today is Wednesday, September 18th. It is FOMC day. Today's video, we're going to talk about mainly the big trades that I've made over $400,000 on over the last 5 trading days, which is crazy, crazy, crazy. It shows the testament to scaling up. It shows how trading is limitless, right? If we can do the same thing, the same strategy, and just increase our size, there's no roof, there's no ceiling to what we can do. And this is a great example of that in my trading this year. So a huge, huge win over the last few days. We traded SPX, we traded Microsoft, we traded Google, and I'm gonna go over all of those trades today in today's video. Before we do that, let me go ahead and wake up a little bit. Right now it's around 6:47 a.m. I'm gonna go ahead and do some technicals for the group, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump further into this video. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Press that like button. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so we just went ahead and finished up the technicals with the group. It's around 7:45. As you guys know, if you watched my day in the life video, this is pretty much every single day for me. We're gonna jump in the live stream. We're gonna get into the trading. I'm gonna go ahead and record my trading today. I don't know if there's gonna be anything that really is worth recording because I don't plan on trading before 2 o'clock today. I really don't wanna get involved in the chop that happens prior to FOMC. And I really don't want to get involved in the craziness that happens during FOMC. If I see something later day that has some volume, has some volatility, I will record it. I will hopefully share it with you guys. If I don't take anything that exciting, then you probably won't see a live trade in today's video. And then we'll just sort of jump right into the recap of those major trades that I took this week. All right, guys, so as expected here, it's 4 o'clock, 4:08 p.m., FOMC is over, and man, it was a pretty lackluster sort of move after that FOMC, and I didn't find anything that I really liked. I am holding on to a few swings that all technicals did hold true, which we can talk slightly about today. Reduced size on holdings quite a bit today, pretty much the entire day just reducing holdings as I just don't really have a good read on this market right now. Very nice to the upside over the last few weeks, which is where all of the money was made that we're going to talk about today. But over the last 3 trading days, this looks very similar to that late August trading in the exact same channel. And if you guys remember my video here on YouTube, this same channel is where I lost a lot of money trading. And so my goal here has just been reduce my holdings and take it a little bit easy while we're trading in this channel. So we'll talk a little bit about FOMC here. After we go over the big trades, we're going to go over SPX, we're going to go over Microsoft, and we're going to go over Google. We'll talk a little bit about those 3 trades that made me quite a bit of money this last few trading days. And then at the end of today's video, we'll go ahead and sort of give you my overall opinion on the current levels that need to be watched and need to hold for the market here over the next few days post FOMC. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the charts and break down these trades. All right, guys, so here we are on the S&P 500 futures, but these are the September contracts because when I entered this SPX position, we were still on the September contracts. The rollover just happened a few days ago. If you want to get into very detailed analysis why I took this S&P 500, these SPX contracts, go back to my last video. We talked about the entry point. We talked about in great detail the 5,400 level that I longed off of. That is the 100 SMA, and that's these multiple touches here on the market. This is where we entered the market long. On the S&P 500, I entered the SPXs off that 5,400 level. We went into great detail in that prior video. Make sure to check that out and watch it if you want to know why I entered. Now, I'm not going to just make an entire video once again about why I entered. That has already been done, and that video has been posted. What I'm going to talk about in today's video is why I held. So I was taking profits but holding that SPX contract all the way into Monday of this week, where I ultimately closed it for a profit. So I held this all through. I'll show you right here, and I'll go ahead and pull up my entries in just a second. But I held this from this Wednesday through Thursday, through Friday, into the next week, into this week, onto Monday. Why was I confident to hold and not just take profits on Wednesday? Why did I hold on Thursday? Why did I hold on Friday? Why did I go ahead and wait until Monday of this week to fully close that position? That is going to be majority of what we talk about in today's video, and this will all go off of key levels. Key levels is what kept me in this trade. And so let me go ahead and share with you how I read this S&P 500 market after entering back on Thursday of last week. Why did I hold, or on Wednesday? Why did I hold Thursday? Why did I hold Friday? And why did I hold over the weekend into Monday? And so right here, guys, is where it all starts from. Obviously, the 5,400 level that we bounced off of right here, that is back on Wednesday of last week. Let me go ahead and show you once again on the hourly chart. We can see there was big downside right back into that 5,400 demand, which held again. Now, on Wednesday, and this was the biggest reason why I held overnight. The biggest reason that I held overnight, the most influential reason, is because of the break over 55.35 and the daily 50 SMA. Let me go ahead and show you why that is such an important break of 55.35, 55.40, and the 100 SMA. If we go back to this period right here on the S&P 500, this is a multi-day period. This is from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, well, obviously not Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday, right? For 4 trading days, we could not get above 55.35 on the S&P 500 futures. These, again, are the September contracts. This was a previous major hold level that turned into a rejection. So when I saw us, or I wanted to see us, get back above that level, right? So if we look at this even more in more detail, we can see rejections at that 55.35, which turned into support here, and which was that major rejection point right here in early September. So I wanted to see the market break out of this channel between 5,400 and 55.35, and if it could, then I figured you could stair step and continue that structure higher. So if I go down to the 15-minute chart now, and I go over to that move, right, look at how the market moved at end of day on Wednesday of last week. Right here, look at the hold intraday right over that 50 SMA and right over that 55.35. So that told me to stay in the position, right? I used that level and that analysis to stay in the position. This is an important reclaim on the S&P 500 futures, up back above that previous rejection, back above the 50, and that is now going to be where I want to see the market stay above. And as long as I'm comfortable in my size, as long as I'm confident in my trade, then there should be no reason that I exit. Exiting after an important reclaim like that and a 50 SMA hold is nothing but emotion and not being comfortable in your trade plan, right? So I saw everything I needed to see to be confident to hold it overnight. Now, we move into Thursday, right? And what's my game plan coming into Thursday? As long as the S&P 500 holds above that 55.35 and holds above that 50 SMA, I want to remain long, right? And what exactly happened on Thursday that kept me in the position? Look at this Thursday trade, right? Look at how that previous 55.35 rejection turned into the most perfect low of day on Thursday. You can imagine how my confidence started to grow in this trade, right? You can imagine how the technicals were just lining up beautifully. The previous 55.35 rejection point that was setting up here, right, turned into perfect support right there on Thursday of last week. The market creating a low at that exact level. I'm going down to the 5-minute chart now, right? Here's your 5-minute chart from Thursday's trading day of last week. Look at how the market turned that 55.35, that 55.40, 50 SMA right into the low of day. And you could imagine how if I came into the day with the game plan of holding the longs as long as we're over 55.40, and that is exactly what happened, you can imagine how confident I was to maintain the position. And that is why I did, right? My confidence was increased, and I continued to see my game plan play out. So I stayed in the position. Very nice. Now, what is the next level that we sort of got higher into on Thursday, right? And we started to see come into play. That level was right here at 5,600. Look at this 5,600 level right here. 5,600 was the major rejection point that caused downside in the market, and this was the exact level that we closed at on Thursday of last week. Look at this at the 15-minute chart. Look at how the S&P 500 pretty much closed right up at that 5,600 level on close on Thursday. So you're probably saying, hey, Desi, the logical thing in that situation is probably take some profits off, right? Because you're moving into that 5,600. That was a major rejection point. You've already driven this pretty high and have some very nice profits. You probably should take some profits off of that 5,600 level. Well, your assumption would be absolutely 100% correct, right? And that is exactly what I did on that Thursday. And if you look at TradeZella here, where you can see my entries and exits, and I will confirm these in E-Trade in just 1 second, you can see on Thursday, I went ahead and started exiting some of this position. Right here on the 12th of last week, you can see I was exiting this position, starting to exit and take some profits on the position on that Thursday as we started to hit that 5,600 supply. So I knew, hey, I've just driven this higher from $37 and from $18 into $99 and $87 per contract, almost 5x. It's probably time to start locking some up as you push into that 5,600 supply. All right, guys, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share with you those entries exactly in my E-Trade platform just for transparency reasons. You can see up here on the top left, extended hours, market closes in X amount of time. That is a countdown. I cannot replicate that. This is not a screenshot. This is my E-Trade account. And I can change this from today, which I actually did lose some money today. You can see that right there. You can go to month to date, which is around 400,000. You can go to year to date, which is around 380,000. So far, month to date, you can see about 400K, and you can see the SPX trade that was about $280,000 all in all. This trade was a little bit over, if I go back to the stats, $188,000 just in this trade. Overall, this month, $281,000 on SPX. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my orders screen. I'm going to go ahead and filter this to SPX, and I'm going to go down to the orders that we are talking about. And that is, we can go and put these side by side. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go side by side here and look at these orders. Let's move this over, and let's look at these orders side by side. So executions, let me pull back on E-Trade 1 second. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. So 910, 911, I'm going to go to that. 910, we bought 16 right here. This is that order right here, guys. I'm just going to find these all for you. You can see right there. Let me go ahead and move this real quick. Actually, let me move my face. Just doing this for transparency reason, guys. If you don't really care about it, you can skip this part of the video, but I'm just going to do this because I don't want to answer any questions. So you guys can see right here, 910 at 213, 16 contracts at 37. That is right here, guys. You can see that right here. That is that entry. That is that order right there. The next entry was on 911 at 1139. That is right here to buy 10. Where is that? That's right here. You can see 9/11, I bought 5,500 calls on the SPX, September 16th expiration, 10 of those at 1870 at 1139. That is exactly what is in TradeZella right there. Now, those are my entries. Let's go ahead and go into my exits. My first exit was on 9/12 at 250 for $99. That is right here. That is 6 of them. That is the profits that I started to take on that Thursday. And again, I took more profits at that 54 mark. I took 10 of them right here, and that is that second exit. So here's my entry on that trade. Here's my other entry on that trade, and those are the first 2 exits that you can see line up with TradeZella on the dot. So let's start here, and then we're going to jump into the next exits after I talk a little bit more about the technicals. But now you can sort of see and stay up to date with where we're at. We entered. We held because of that Thursday hold of that 50 SMA. We saw 5,600 get hit and start to reject. So we started to take some profits, started to lock in. And right here, I locked in about $87,000. And so now let's move forward and let's talk about where the next exits were, which were here and then the next day. So both Friday and Monday. So coming into, let's go back to the technicals. 5,600 started to reject there on that Thursday move. And I knew that this was a major supply level, right? You can see right here, this was a major supply level at 5,600. And I was a little cautious that, hey, this 5,600 level might cause the market to reverse the next day. And I don't want to be too greedy here. I want to make sure I take some profits. So that is why I did that on Thursday. Now, let's go down into the short-term time frames, and let's look at the Friday open. Now, look at what I was able to see the next morning. And this was a very pleasant surprise for me, and I was very happy to see it. Now, of course, I took my profits to be cautious on some risk. Of course, I still had some outstanding risk, but I was willing to take that risk after locking in some profits. The next morning, we can see that the S&P 500 futures opened above 5,600. This was a dream open for my position. As long now as the S&P 500 is holding over 5,600, I'm staying in this long, right, with my runners. I've taken profits. I've done my job of reducing risk. I know what level I need to see hold. I know what level I need to see break and hold above. That was 5,600. That was part of the plan, and that is exactly the open that I got on Friday morning. Perfect. I got that 5,600 hold, and we saw the upside come in. Now we can go back to TradeZella, and you guys can see that next day right here, right around 10:52 on Friday, I was locking in more profits because it was heading into the weekend, and I knew I needed to start locking more in. So on Friday, I locked in another 5 contracts for $52,000. I will go to the E-Trade, and I will verify that for you. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So right here, we'll verify that exit. That is at 9. That's on 9/13 at 10:52. That is right here, guys. That is my next exit on those 5,500 calls. So we're heading into the weekend. I'm locking in another 50K. I'm reducing my risk. I'm understanding that I've taken this trade on a huge run, and we're starting to get that push. Let me go ahead and lock some more in. So on Friday, I went ahead and I talked to myself through this trade. I said, hey, Desi, you've locked in about 75% of this trade. Let's make sure you continue to maintain this in some regard if the technicals stay true, but let's not get too greedy over the weekend, right? As long as that S&P is over 5,600, let's stay in the position to some type of degree, but let's make sure the risk is in check. So that's what I did, right? That was my exit on Friday. It wasn't any type of panic exit. I just wanted to reduce some more risk, and I wanted to make sure I maintained in a comfortable, cautious state, right? Because that was very important, guys. You got to understand, man, I am managing a multi-$100,000 position here. That is big time, right? And so I needed to make sure I stayed calm at all times. That was very important during this trade. Now on Monday, guys, this was options expiration. We were expiring on Monday, and I just went ahead and I closed the position. You guys will see right here on TradeZella, pretty much a little bit after open. This was right around 12 o'clock. I just went ahead and cut it and said, that's it, man. Let's take this profit. You can see right around 12 o'clock on that on that Monday, and I will verify this on E-Trade. Let me go ahead and verify this on E-Trade for you. On that 16th, you can see right here, on the 16th at 12:14, I finally closed that position. That was 5 more contracts at $114. So overall, if we go to the stats of this trade, I had about a 242% profit. I had about $77,000 in the trade, and I made about $188,000. That was the total. That is the total profit on that SPX. Now, if we go back to the other SPX trade, which we can talk in about just 1 second. Let's go back to that SPX trade. And this is all my E-Trade. Let me go ahead and go to this day. This was the big percentage point trade right here. This was the 435% trade. This is the trade we talked about in my prior video. This is the one that we just talked about here. And then the other one that we talked about in the prior video, my previous video before, was this one, right? So you guys can see overall between that video from last week and the video and the trade that we took just recently and closed on Monday, this was about a $288,000 profit on SPX. And if we go to E-Trade and we go to performance, we can see that SPX profits of around $282,000. I had a few losses on it today, so that's why it's slightly lower today. So that's SPX. That wraps up everything. That explains to you why I held the SPX while I did. It was all based off technicals. If you want to get more details as to why I originally entered and the analysis that I created for myself to take this position, that is the video that I posted last week, the $196,000 trade. Make sure to go ahead and check that out in combination with this video, and I think both of those videos together will give you a very good explanation as to why I did what I did. So with that said, let's quickly talk about the S&P 500 futures and where it's currently trading, and I want to talk about why I believe these are some key levels that you should be watching into tomorrow. Unfortunately, after the FOMC today, we did not break outside of this channel, which is quite unfortunate. So you guys can see right here, we have a major channel on the S&P 500 futures that we are still trading within. So tomorrow, we got to see if we can get a break outside of it. 56.50 to around 57.25. We are still trading within it, and those are the levels you got to watch. Tomorrow on the NASDAQ futures, it's the same thing. You can see right here, the NASDAQ futures are unfortunately still trading within the same channel between 19,820 and that 100 SMA down at 19,500, 19,530. We need to get out of this channel to get confident trades. If you want to get more information on this at technicals and up-to-date analysis, come to the morning live stream tomorrow and we will go over that. All right, guys? That is my trade. That is how I made about $400,000 this month. SPX, Microsoft, Google, wild run. You guys saw me post it on X. You saw me post it on Instagram. Here is sort of the close the chapter, close the book to those trades, and let's keep going. Let's keep moving on, and let's see what else this market presents. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, press that like button. If you want to trade live with me, down below in the description, you will find a link that says trade live with me. Go ahead and check it out every single morning, trading live with the group, voice chat only. I get a lot of questions whether there's a screen share. This is voice chat only. I talk through my trades. I talk through the market. I give market commentary throughout the day until around noon. If you want to check that out, down below. Thank you guys for all the support. Press that like button, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.